Naked and Afraid Castaways Season 1 Episode 6 Review. Yes, good people, a number of my predictions from my last review came true after watching this episode. And in my opinion, this series is very predictable. But it'll be my job to share my opinion on how things unfolded for the episode, and I'll try my best to make this review longer than 4 minutes. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. First things first, I want to talk about Balint. In the last episode, Cara and Naim left Balint alone in order to migrate several miles away from the extraction point, and at that time, the decision really didn't make any sense because it assumed that Balint would catch that elusive pig, that he would carry the processed pig meat several miles to the new camp, and that he would know how to find his team without any map or knowledge that his teammates are even still on the show. Well, as luck would have it, Balint finally catches the pig, but me being the conspiracy theorist that I am, I found myself wondering if Balint really caught the pig or if the show intervened and through the power of TV magic, Balint finally gets the pig. And I say this because after several failed attempts to catch the pig, we see a video of the pig getting near the trap. We hear the pig squealing, but Balint patiently waits to check on the pig. And several hours later when Balint checks on the pig, I initially expected the pig to be alive, if not dead due to suffocation. But we see that the pig is dead, and the wire around its neck is pretty loose. Now maybe I'm looking into this a little too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if the show planted a dead pig in the trap just so Balint would have something to eat after days of starving. But from the looks of things, Balint will have plenty to eat and carry with him to the end of the challenge. Next, there's Cara and Naim. In this episode, we pick up where episode 5 left off, and just as I suspected, Cara came close to tapping out, but she decided to push through the madness. Her and Naim migrate their way down to rendezvous with none other than Justin and Rachel. Now the show would want us to believe that Cara and Naim just happened to find Justin and Rachel due to pure luck, but here's what I think. I strongly believe that the pathway for extraction is compromised, and production had to convince Balint, Naim, and Cara to migrate south in order to meet up with the other groups, so that they could all raft their way to the extraction point. However, in order to maintain credibility of the show, I'm thinking that production is stepping in and taking a more active role in controlling the outcome of the challenge. But once Cara and Naim meet up with Rachel and Justin, we get a mini reunion with Naim and Rachel, and right off the bat, the new team chemistry is leaps and bounds ahead of how Naim, Cara, and Balint were. Rachel's knee is still bothering her, and Justin is still mentally recovering from biting the apple of death. So Naim and Cara's visit was very much needed. However, the current location for this team isn't producing much food, so the team then decides to build a raft and head north to the extraction point, which is a smart idea. But if the show was truly authentic to the rules that they established, then I would have to ask one more time, how would they know if Balint was successful in catching the pig? Or how would Balint know that Cara and Naim didn't tap out prior to Balint migrating several miles from the extraction point? My only answer to all of this is that the outcome was already predetermined and production is helping everybody survive. Now the MVP for the episode has to be Naim, because he took the lead on building the raft that could hold multiple people, and this is some sort of redemption for him. However, Rachel decided to tap out because of how bad her knee was bothering her. And it turns out that Rachel had a fractured tibia and torn meniscus, which are pretty significant injuries to have without any medical assistance. So I completely understand Rachel's decision to tap out of the competition, and I think that she should be proud of what she was able to accomplish for the season. The last team that I want to talk about is Team Heather, Andrew, and Patrick. Now during the episode, I wasn't very happy with Patrick, mainly because he had a boneheaded way of thinking. Now sure, his team was in a location that had an ample source of food, but the rising tide pretty much forced them to relocate to a drier land, as well as find a source of water that wasn't tainted with salt water. Now the grand compromise, in my opinion, would have been for the group to relocate no more than a quarter of a mile from where they were. But it seems like Patrick didn't want to do any of that. However, Andrew and Heather eventually get through to Patrick, and the group decides to migrate to a better area. Now according to the episode's intro, Heather will eventually meet up with Balint, Patrick will eventually have an argument with Naim, and the remaining cast members will migrate their way to the extraction point. Now, I say all that to say that it is my honest opinion that this show is entirely too scripted. In my opinion, the concept had a lot of potential when the series first aired, but if the concept proved anything, it's that the show's participants cannot survive without the essentials. But this marks the end of my review, and I would like to know what you thought about the episode. Please leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.